You might not be panicking, but I'm panicking on these 5 players for fantasy football. Starting off with player number 1, it's going to be Cooper Kupp for the Rams. Cooper Kupp dealing with a high ankle sprain, and I guess the pro with Cooper Kupp dealing with this high ankle sprain is that he kind of avoided IR, so they're projecting him to be somewhere around 3 to 4 weeks. But we have seen Cooper Kupp the last 2 seasons just absolutely battle injuries. And now Cooper Kupp in the start to this season, it's looked pretty good. In the first week, had 32 fantasy points, only had 7 fantasy points in that 52% snap share, had 6 targets, 4 receptions in week 2 versus Arizona when he ended up getting hurt. But like I said, Cooper Kupp's getting up there in age, 31 years old, 6'2", and these injuries year after year after year are really starting to pile up. I mean, in 2023, let's not forget that he pretty much started off the season, first 4 weeks of the season, out with injury. We look back to 2022, ended up ending the season with a huge injury. So he just hasn't been able to stay healthy. And so I'm just a little bit panicking. I'm not saying that you absolutely need to sell, because right now it's almost impossible to sell Cooper Kupp with him being hurt, but I'm panicking. I'm worried, because if you have Cooper Kupp on your team, you're dealing with a lot of these injuries, and it's just not feeling great about Cooper Kupp. So like I said, if you're looking to sell some Cooper Kupp though I think right now it's a bad time with that injury, what are you going to be able to get to kind of float your team? We're looking at some deals. We got Cooper Kupp, Jahmyr Gibbs for Rashee Rice and Derrick Henry. I think at this point, after Rashee Rice has been absolutely electric, Jahmyr Gibbs and Derrick Henry are close enough. Give me the Rashee Rice, Derrick Henry side. Selling Cooper Kupp and Aaron Jones for Mike Evans. Mike Evans been absolutely electric. Interesting trade. Now, I'm not selling Cooper Kupp, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet for Kyren Williams unless you're absolutely desperate for a start. I lean that side. We got Cooper Kupp and Saquon Barkley for J-Mo, Devon, Josh Downs. I think I am holding the Cooper Kupp, Saquon Barkley side there. Someone sold Cooper Kupp for Brock Bowers and Jameson Williams. Easily give me the Brock Bowers and J-Mo side. So like I said, I do think you can sell some Cooper Kupp currently at the moment. But like I said, I'm panicking. I think you need to be panicking. You need to be debating what you're doing with Cooper Kupp rest of the season. We move on to the second player that I'm panicking on, and it's going to be Travis Kelce. And I don't want to say that the run is over for Travis Kelce, but I also don't want to say that it's been all fine and dandy. With 6 fantasy points in week 1, 1 fantasy point in week 2. He had 91% snap share, 3 targets, 1 reception, 5 yards. Now, he would have had a huge gain in that Baltimore Ravens week 1 game that got called back on a flag. So I think there are some debates to be had, but we are looking at this Kansas City Chiefs offense, and we got Rashee Rice, we have Xavier Worthy being electric. Now we have no Hollywood Brown, we got Isaiah Pacheco out with an injury, so we're hoping that Travis Kelce takes more of the work, but this is year 11. He is 34 years old. Father time eventually comes around, and I know the explosion hasn't necessarily been there for him. So I don't want to tell you to just sell some Travis Kelce after what we've seen, but I mean, when you're looking at deals like Travis Kelce for Brandon Ayuk, I know don't have Brandon Ayuk as high as what we had him heading into the season, but you're still getting a top 18 wide receiver for Travis Kelce. I like that deal. Travis Kelce for a guy like Tank Dell, probably not doing that. Travis Kelce for Dalton Kincaid, 2 tight ends that have not shown any sort of flashes. Your guys are banking on the fact that Dalton Kincaid's younger. I think that's a deal to me that I had Travis Kelce as my tight end 1 heading into the season, and I think Travis Kelce could definitely be, depending on how your team's built, could be a buy low or a sell high. I just think for me, if we wait one more week and we just see Travis Kelce absolutely not be a dude, we're going to be in for a little trouble. Travis Kelce for Chris Godwin and Jake Ferguson, another great deal that if you're a little bit panicky on Travis Kelce, I would be interested in doing. Now, moving on to my next player that I'm panicking on in fantasy football, it's going to be our boy Michael Pittman Jr. for the Indianapolis Colts. 7 fantasy points in week 1, 5 fantasy points in week 2. He had an 86% snap share, 8 targets, 7 targets. So you're saying to me, well, Caleb, what's happening? I think what we've seen in the previous years for Michael Pittman Jr. has just been kind of what I was saying. I think he's a jag, just another guy type wide receiver. Nothing electric, nothing amazing about him, but he's had absolutely crazy volume. And through the first 2 weeks, 8 targets, 7 targets. That's not high-end amazing volume, but it's not bad volume. And he hasn't done anything with it. And we have Josh Downs returning from injury with a quarterback in Anthony Richardson who's absolutely loving to chuck the ball down the yard. And so with them chucking the ball all around the yard, I just think Michael Pittman Jr.'s overall value right now just continues to sink, and I'm definitely panicking. And like I said, when we're looking at overall trades for a guy like Michael Pittman Jr., it's not great because of the value that you had to invest into him. But when we're looking at some deals, I mean, you got some interesting ones where you got a guy like a Saquon Barkley, Michael Pittman for Alec Pierce, Jahmyr Gibbs, Zay Flowers. Like, that's a deal where I would give the Michael Pittman Jr. side a chance, because I do have Saquon Barkley as the best player in that deal. Now, trading Michael Pittman Jr. away for Rachaad White. Last week we were panicking on Rachaad White. We're still panicking on Rachaad White. I just think take the shot on a Rachaad White. I think there's more of a resurgence there than a guy like Michael Pittman Jr. We go down Michael Pittman and Travis Etienne for CeeDee Lamb. 100% give me that CeeDee Lamb side. Michael Pittman for George Pickens straight up. Another deal that 100% go give me some George Pickens there for Michael Pittman Jr. So panicking on Michael Pittman Jr. Those are some deals that I would be looking to do. The next guy we're going to be talking about is going to be Jaylen Waddle, and Waddle for none other than his own. It's not his fault that Tua ended up getting hurt, but if Waddle would have scored on the 1 yard line, we might not be talking about Tua Tagovailoa with another concussion and being all worried about this team. 16 fantasy points in week 1, 8 fantasy points in week 2. So going forward, I have pushed Jaylen Waddle all the way down my board to wide receiver 21 rest of season in my rankings. And so I'm saying if you're able to get out before this week of games, when arguably we don't know what the quarterback play is going to be from Skylar Thompson, I'm imagining it's not going to be great. I want out. Jaylen Waddle for T. Higgins. I think that's an interesting deal. Jaylen Waddle for Dalton Kincaid is an interesting deal. J.K. Dobbins, Jaylen Waddle for Mike Evans is an interesting deal. Like, I think there are some deals out there to be had. Now, you're not getting an elite level wide receiver. I mean, he was already being drafted as a high-end wide receiver 2. I think if I can get middling wide receiver 2 value plus maybe a piece, that's a deal that I'm looking to do for Jaylen Waddle, because I personally don't want to be caught holding the bag if the worst comes to worst and this offense absolutely sucks. And I know the thing that we need to know about this overall Dolphins team is there's potential that they might bring in a quarterback, whether they bring in a guy like a Ryan Tannehill, whether they trade for a guy like a Trey Lance, a Jameis Winston, but we can't bank on that. And so I am not banking on having amazing quarterback play. I mean, Skylar Thompson, we've already seen it in his first rookie level season. It wasn't amazing. They barely were a functioning level offense, even with Mike McDaniel, Tyreek Hill, and Jaylen Waddle at the helm. So I know you're probably going to have to sell low, and I understand that, but I would be looking to get out because I know there's the rumors that Tua might be coming back, but even if Tua comes back in 4 to 5 weeks, like we need, if you're in a desperate spot right now, you might not have the time to wait and roll the dice that's going to be, you're going to be able to, withstand those waters and withstand the flurry of having Jaylen Waddle absolutely suck on your fantasy football team. And kind of bringing it back to my last final player we're going to be discussing today, it is going to be none other than Amari Cooper for the Cleveland Browns. And when we're looking at Amari Cooper, it hasn't been great, and I have Amari in a lot of spots. I honestly feel like I rated Amari a lot higher. I think I got swindled by the Joe Flacco Browns over the Deshaun Watson Browns. 4 fantasy points in week 2, 1 fantasy point in week 1. Now, he did have 9 and 8 targets. So the targets are there, just the receptions and the touchdowns are not. So if you're an Amari Cooper guy, like I am, a lot of places I am stuck holding the bag. I'm stuck holding the Amari Cooper bag. If you're in a league where there are trades to be had and you can easily, flindle some trades and swindle some trades, Amari Cooper, Drake London, Tajay Spears for Lad McConkey, Aaron Jones, that's not a deal I'm doing. Amari Cooper, Chris Olave for Jerome Ford, Garrett Wilson. Like I said, like you start to do these and you don't feel really great about it, but you also understand the fact that Amari's been giving you zeros. Amari Cooper, Aaron Jones for Devontae Adams, Devin Singletary. That's an interesting trade because I feel like you're getting the better wide receiver. And as much as I like Aaron Jones and I have Aaron Jones above Devin Singletary, I think Devin Singletary will do enough to maintain that overall value. Amari Cooper and Christian McCaffrey for Travis Etienne, Garrett Wilson. Give me the Travis Etienne, Garrett Wilson side. Amari Cooper straight up for Devin Singletary. If you need some running back help, I understand why you would do that. Amari Cooper, like we said, we just saw that trade, so we'll keep scrolling down. Amari Cooper for TJ Hawkinson. I don't love that. Xavier Worthy and Amari Cooper to get to a guy like Debo, even though he's dealing with an injury. Like, I do think there are trades, and as you can see, trades are happening day in and day out, but Amari Cooper is definitely a guy that I am potentially looking to sell and panic on and sell at his current value because I'm worried that it's going to go lower. So if you like fantasy football, if you like debating the market of trades, if you like asking start-sit questions, I'm answering all questions down below. So ask me any start-sit question, helping you win your week 3 matchup once you're here in the community on the way to 3,000 subscribers. So hit that like and subscribe button. If you haven't checked out these 2 videos, check them out, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.